Folks, hold on to your seats, because what we are about to dive into today is one of the most wild, feel-good, jaw-dropping stories the Toronto Blue Jays have cooked up in a long time. We are talking a former substitute teacher, a guy who just 2 years ago was juggling 3 jobs and still chasing his baseball dream, who has quietly emerged as one of the most dangerous arms in the entire Blue Jays organization. And the mainstream media? They completely slept on him. Not for long. Because the word is out, and today we are breaking it all down for you. On top of that, we have a massive update on the man, the myth, the legend himself, Trey Yesvich. Because if you thought the Blue Jays were just going to throw their golden arm out there without a plan, think again. The organization has spoken, and what John Schneider had to say about the 2025 World Series hero is both encouraging and a little bit alarming, depending on who you ask. We are going to get into all of it, and you are not going to want to miss what Andres Gimenez has been doing at shortstop for Venezuela at the World Baseball Classic, because he is reminding the entire baseball world exactly why the Blue Jays moved mountains to get him into their lineup this season. This is a lot, and it is all unbelievably good, so let us get straight into it. Let us start with the story that is lighting up Blue Jays circles right now. Sportsnet's Ben Nicholson-Smith, one of the most respected names covering this team, dropped a detailed report shining a spotlight on right-handed reliever Nate Garcow. And when a reporter of Nicholson-Smith's caliber goes out of his way to write about a guy, you stop what you are doing and you pay attention. Because this is not some hype piece. This is a legitimate scouting report dressed up in a human interest story, and the human interest side of it alone is absolutely incredible. So who is Nate Garcow? Until very recently, this was a guy most fans had never heard of. At just 28 years old, Garcow was working 3 different jobs at the same time while still trying to scratch and claw his way to professional baseball. During the day, he was a substitute teacher, covering classes from kindergarten all the way through grade 12. In his spare time, he worked retail at Vuori, a lifestyle clothing brand. And despite all of that, despite going undrafted out of college, despite bouncing around independent ball, Garcow never stopped grinding. He never stopped believing. He made his way through the Frontier League, signed with the Gateway Grizzlies, and struck out 37 batters in just 15 2/3 innings while surrendering only 4 hits. That is the kind of number that makes scouts spill their coffee. The Blue Jays noticed. They signed him out of independent ball during the 2024 season, and from that moment, Nate Garcow has been on a rocket ship. He spent the back end of 2024 with Single-A Dunedin, logged 21 innings in relief, posted a 2.14 ERA with 30 strikeouts, and earned a quick promotion to Double-A New Hampshire, where he threw 3 scoreless innings with 4 more punch-outs to close the year. Then came 2025, and folks, the numbers are flat-out absurd. Garcow appeared in 39 games between High-A Vancouver and Double-A New Hampshire. He struck out 86 batters across just 53 2/3 innings. At Double-A New Hampshire specifically, he posted a 1.22 ERA with 54 strikeouts in 29 appearances. His overall minor league career ERA now sits at 2.78, with a 1.04 WHIP and 120 strikeouts in fewer than 78 innings pitched. Those are not just good numbers, those are eye-watering numbers. And the reason, one pitch, one absolutely filthy, ego-destroying, hitter-humiliating pitch, his changeup. And it is not just any changeup. Blue Jays fans and opposing hitters alike have already started calling it the Bugs Bunny changeup. And if you have ever seen a Bugs Bunny cartoon where something gets launched off a cliff and just dies mid-air, you already understand exactly what we are talking about. The pitch looks like a heater coming out of Garcow's hand. It has deceptive spin. Hitters load up expecting to destroy a fastball, and then it just falls off the table. Dead. Gone, strike 3. Garcow himself described it perfectly, saying it looks like a heater coming out and it just dies. And to this day, hitters have not really done too much damage on it. That is a quote from the man himself in Nicholson-Smith's report, and honestly, you cannot say it better than that. Now, Garcow does not throw particularly hard. His fastball typically sits between 88 and 90 miles per hour. In today's game where everyone is obsessed with triple-digit velocity, that sounds like a death sentence. But here is the thing. His fastball generates roughly 24 inches of induced vertical break. That means it rides up through the zone, it stays above barrels, and it generates swing and miss rates that hitters throwing 97 or 98 struggle to match. He also mixes in a slider that adds another layer of deception, and when you combine all three pitches with his sequencing and command, you have something genuinely dangerous at the big league level. Even Blue Jays prospect Sean Keyes, the 2024 fourth-round pick who bashed 19 home runs with Vancouver last season, admitted that Garcow's changeup was hard to hit even when he knew it was coming. Read that sentence again. Hard to hit even when you know it is coming. That is Bugs Bunny level stuff. That is magic. And Blue Jays manager John Schneider was asked directly about Garcow during spring camp, and his response was just 2 words: really good changeup. When your manager talks about a minor league arm with that kind of language, something is brewing. Now, does Garcow make the big league club out of spring training? Probably not. He is still developing his secondary pitches, and the Blue Jays would most likely prefer to send him to Triple-A for more reps. But here is what makes this so exciting. The Blue Jays bullpen outside of the top tier is completely wide open. Beyond Tyler Rogers, Jeff Hoffman, and a couple of others, there are spots to be won. And Garcow is already being talked about internally as a potential mid-season call-up candidate. This is not a 5-year project. He is 28 years old. He is ready now. And with a team that has shown a willingness to deploy unconventional arms, just look at how they used Tyler Rogers, whose own submarine delivery baffled hitters. Nate Garcow fits the mold perfectly. You could even envision Rogers taking Garcow under his wing, mentoring him on how to maximize a pitch repertoire that prioritizes deception over raw power. Add Blue Jays pitching coach Pete Walker into that equation and you have a recipe for rapid development. This is the kind of player that flies completely under the radar until one day he is not. And now that Nicholson Smith has put this story in the spotlight, the secret is out. Keep a close eye on Nate Garcow. He could be one of the most important relief finds of the season. And quite frankly, the fact that he is no longer working 3 jobs and can focus entirely on his craft, that alone gives you goosebumps. From substitute teaching kindergartners to potentially pitching in a major league bullpen. That is baseball, people. That is why we love this sport. Now let us pivot to the topic that every single Blue Jays fan has an opinion on, and that is Trey Yesvich, the 22-year-old who went from single-A Dunedin to pitching in the World Series in a single season. The rookie who broke a World Series record with 12 strikeouts in Game 5 against the Los Angeles Dodgers, becoming the first rookie in history to accomplish that feat in a Fall Classic game. A 3-1 record with a 3.58 ERA and 39 strikeouts across 27 and 2/3 innings in the entire postseason. Historic stuff. Generational stuff. The kind of performance that makes you wonder if you are watching the next great Blue Jays pitcher, a Roy Halladay for this generation. So, where is he this spring? Well, here is the deal. Yesvich has yet to appear in a single Grapefruit League game. He has been throwing live batting practice sessions in Dunedin, building up gradually and deliberately, and manager John Schneider has been very candid about the reasoning. Last season, Yesvich threw 139 and 2/3 total innings between his minor league stops and the big league stage. Before that, he maxed out at 93 and 1/3 innings at East Carolina University. That is a massive jump. And when you add the emotional and physical toll of a postseason that ended on November 1st, the Blue Jays are not about to burn this kid out before his full MLB career even truly begins. Schneider confirmed that the plan is not to send Yesvich to Triple-A. He will break camp with the big league club. That is locked in. But the expectation is that he may only be built up to 3 or 4 innings per outing by the time the regular season starts, potentially even pitching abbreviated starts early in the year before gradually stretching out. Schneider made it clear the team still views him as a starter, emphatically so, and that they are not putting a rigid cap on his season. There is flexibility baked into the plan. If Yesvich feels great and his arm responds well, they will let him run. If they need to skip him a start or push him back occasionally, they will do that too. Is it frustrating not seeing him in spring games yet? A little, sure. But here is the bigger picture. The Blue Jays have extraordinary rotation depth right now. Dylan Cease was signed to a massive 7-year, $210 million deal to anchor the staff. Kevin Gausman is back. Jose Barrios is in the mix. They added Cody Ponce on a 3-year deal, and Max Scherzer, the future Hall of Famer, is back on a 1-year agreement. The Blue Jays do not need to rush Yesvich for even a single inning. They can manage him with total precision, and that is exactly what they intend to do. Because the goal is not just 2026, the goal is the next decade. Yesvich is the pitcher of the future for this franchise, and the Blue Jays are smart enough to protect that future, even when it is tempting to just unleash him. There is also a financial side to this story worth noting. The Blue Jays and Yesvich are expected to agree on a pre-arbitration salary for the 2026 season. That is a positive sign on all fronts. It shows the player is bought in, the organization is bought in, and everyone is aligned on the shared vision. This is a partnership built for the long haul, and moves like this only reinforce that. The Blue Jays are playing the long game with Trey Yesvich. And honestly, that is exactly the right move. You do not rush greatness, you nurture it. Finally, let us close out with something that has been an absolute treat for anyone watching the World Baseball Classic unfold. Andrés Gimenez, the man tasked with taking over full-time shortstop duties for the Blue Jays in 2026 following Bo Bichette's departure to the New York Mets, has been putting on a defensive show for Team Venezuela that is raising eyebrows and turning heads across the baseball world. This transition matters enormously for Toronto. Gimenez spent 3 consecutive seasons at second base with the Cleveland Guardians, winning the Gold Glove Award at that position from 2022 through 2024. He has the range, the arm, and the instincts to handle shortstop. He proved it in flashes during Toronto's World Series run last year, delivering outstanding defense during the Fall Classic and collecting 14 hits, 2 home runs, and 12 RBIs across 18 playoff games. But doing it full-time in the regular season, for a contender, at the sport's most demanding defensive position is a different kind of test. The WBC is giving him valuable game reps under real pressure, and from what we have seen, Gimenez looks every bit the part. Now, the big question surrounding Gimenez going into 2026 is not his glove. Nobody doubts the glove. The question is the bat. His offensive production dipped significantly after that monster 2022 breakout season when he slashed .297 with 17 home runs. More recently, he has been below average with the stick, ranking in the 13th percentile in bat speed. But here is the encouraging thing. He hit an opposite field home run during spring training, something he had not done in the regular season since 2022. It is one swing, but it is a promising sign that there may be more offensive life in Gimenez than the past couple of seasons have suggested. If he can rediscover a 15-home run version of himself while pairing it with that elite glove alongside Ernie Clement, the Blue Jays will have one of the most feared defensive middle infield combinations in all of baseball. And the WBC stage is the perfect proving ground. Representing Venezuela, competing against the best hitters in the world, playing shortstop in high-pressure moments, this is exactly the kind of preparation that sets a player up for a strong regular season. Gimenez knows the stakes. He has something to prove offensively. And based on what we are seeing in March, he looks motivated, locked in, and ready to deliver. So here is where we stand. Blue Jays Nation. Spring training is flying by. The regular season is fewer than 3 weeks away. And this team has never looked more interesting heading into an opener. You have a secret bullpen weapon in Nate Garcow, a former schoolteacher with a changeup so nasty it should be illegal. You have the careful, methodical, clearly purposeful development of Trey Yesvich, who even in a limited role will make this rotation terrifying. And you have Andrés Gimenez reminding the world on the WBC stage exactly who he is and what he brings to this Blue Jays infield. This team is dangerous. This team is deep. And this team has stories that are only getting started. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you are exactly the kind of fan this channel is built for. Absolute legends. Do me a favor, smash that like button right now because it genuinely helps more fans find this content. Drop a comment down below and tell me what you think about Nate Garcow. Have you been following him? Are you buying into the hype? And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a Blue Jays breakdown. We are going to be rolling out content all the way through opening day and beyond. Stay locked in. Go Jays.